Da, 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 da. Converted man here. Hello, everybody. I hope that wasn't enough. And that was an annoying noises of. That was the annoying section part of the video where I announced myself in lots of different ways. Welcome, friends, foes, fellow countrymen. Lend me your ears as I tell you the tale. The tale of Off the Kirb Ministries with a video called If This Wasn't Debunked by the Bible, I Wouldn't Believe You. Okay, weird name. Wonder what the video is about. Let's find out, shall we?
I am going to get some hate for this video because the world is not 4.5 billion years old.
Yes it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's see. Age of the Earth. The scientific dating age of the Earth. The age of the Earth is estimated to be 4.54 plus or minus 0.05 billion years. So, 4.54 billion years old. Okay. There you go. Yeah, that's what everything on the internet says that is scientific and credible. And there's multiple ways that we've found that this is true. Scientists have calculated that by radiometric dating, by soil samples. We've got tree rings. We've got the stars themselves, because redshifting would be different if the age of the Earth was different. We'd observe different stars than we do now. Well, that's probably how we know how old the universe is, more than the Earth. But the universe is 13 billion years old. So you're just wrong. Whatever you're going to say next is completely and utterly wrong. And unless you have a degree in, I don't know, geology or some sort of scientific thing. No, he says, or let's see what his little description here says. Oh, it says, according to modern day scientists, right, according to people that know what they're doing, the world is 4.5 billion years old. Joe Kirby from Off the Kirb Ministries investigates this claim. Okay, Joe Kirby, what do you have for credentials that would make us think that you know what the hell you're talking about? Let's see. Joe Kirby is a British school teacher and director of education at Atha Learning Trust, known for creating and making popular use of knowledge organizers, a template by teachers clarify essential to them. I'm not sure that that's him, but okay. A template used by teachers and students to clarify what's essential to learn. Let's see. I'm not sure that this is the same Joe Kirby, because this is a teacher, so I don't know. British. Doesn't have a picture of him, though. So I could be reading the Wikipedia of the wrong person. Honestly, don't know. Let's see. If it is that Kirby, he'd be an English teacher. So that would not qualify him to really to be able to debunk something as wide scale understood and agreed upon in the scientific community as the age of the Earth. However, there's a video of Joe Kirby's testimony. Off the Kirb Ministries exposed. Ooh, juicy. Let's see. Joe's in theatrical background. So I can't find really anything by Joe Kirby other than he might be a British school teacher. That might not even be the same Joe. So it's fair to say that he is completely and not utterly at all zero qualification to really be able to explore the subject. Anyways, he apparently investigates the claim, which he can't do because he doesn't understand it well enough to investigate that claim. And just to clarify, I wouldn't be able to do that either. Why? I'm not a geologist. I'm not a scientist. But I have seen and read a few peer-reviewed papers. I've seen plenty of articles and plenty of things that are well evidenced and well researched and have zero reason to think if that the Earth is not the age we think it is, which is 4.54 billion years old. What else do you got to say in your little description here? As well as other evidence or proof they give us that would make the Christians other people create. Okay. Investigates this claim as well as other evidence and proofs they give us that would make Christians and other people question the Genesis account about God the Maker described in the Bible. Okay. Well, if reality is causing you to question the Genesis account, perhaps reality is correct and the Bible account is incorrect. And that's not because people are setting out to do that. It's just because that's how reality is. There are many, many Christians who have zero problem with the age of the earth and the age of the universe and biological evolution and the shape of the earth and anything else under the sun that's scientific. There are plenty of Christians that have no problem with that. There's also the Biologos Foundation that tries to mesh science and the Bible together and say, here's how we could look at it that makes this fit, if you will. Now, they're squishing the Bible to fit reality, but at least that's more honest than ignoring reality, telling lies about it in order to promote your idea of what Genesis is supposed to be. It should be noted that many of the early Christian church founders, fathers, whatever, if you want to go into traditionalists, um, the round, the shape of the earth, the roundness, the sphericalness nature of it, that was like accepted. They didn't have this problem, and they started science somewhat. Um, and really because you couldn't not be religious back then, more than not. But nonetheless, okay, Christians, there's something that they gave those in power time to pursue knowledge. And so with the Catholics, the Pope has just utterly declared that, I think he's declared the age of the earth and universe to be in line with science. I know that I think, and again, I think he said that biological evolution was fine and to accept that, and some other things. And because it's an authoritarian driven system, they go along with whatever the Pope says until the new Pope comes along, who can then undo any of that, I suppose. But they don't have this problem that evangelistic types have, where they think that Genesis must be taken a certain way. And like I was going to say, the earlier church fathers, many of them, the founding, well, not the founding fathers of the church, but the early members took a very non-literal version of Genesis. They thought, no, that this is not meant to be taken to have happen in a literal fashion. And they saw it more as a metaphor. And then, of course, the scholars. I'm not sure what qualifies one to be a scholar, but the scholars of the Bible have also, broadly speaking, accepted that Genesis is not historical in nature and should be viewed as poetic or mythologic in nature. And the more honest ones have admitted that Genesis probably was borrowed, i.e., stolen, from other similar fables that were around the time when Genesis was originally penned down, which is, by the way, we have to guess at that because we don't really know when it was penned down. The latest copy We have, let's see, Genesis. When was it written? I'm not sure offhand. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so about according to this, it's good enough for me. About 1440 BCE. Anywhere from there to about 1400 BCE. We count backwards because we're weird. Um, anyways, so yeah, so they would have been fine with Genesis not being taken literally. And some of them, I think, even argued that it shouldn't be taken literally. And maybe they did that not for scientific reasons, but for theological reasons. But this is a evangelistic problem, and it is one found mostly in the West, mostly in the United States, more than anywhere else. Britain actually has usually less of a problem with this. England doesn't really have this problem. Christians and maybe because they're mostly Catholic there, but Christians and Catholics there typically don't have a problem with the age of the earth or the universe. So this guy is going against the zeitgeist of the majority of the believers in Christianity. He is in a subset of Christian that are in the minority. Now, that doesn't make him wrong, but it should be kept in mind for the believer that might listen to me talk about him. And the thing I want to get through to the believer is you can accept the facts about Genesis, its origin, its interpretation thereof, and it shouldn't cause you to question, quote unquote, the rest of the Bible. Your ideas might change, but maybe what it should question is how you view God. And if you are a Judeo Christian, and if you are someone who is playing with the idea of the young earth or young universe or denial of biological evolution or some other pseudoscience stuff that's out there that you could fall into, like flat earth beliefs or whatever. If you are one of those persons, I would say, look, for your God to be real at all, even a little bit, it must align with reality. And I hope that you and I would be on the same page there. Because if you're going to say to me, look, if the Bible said 1 + 1 is 1,000,000, I would believe it. If you're that type, you're gone. You're worshiping a Bible and not a real God. If God supposedly wants a relationship to you, and relationship means what I think it means, then isn't it true that people that you have a relationship, you can learn something new about them, right? Maybe you've been with the same person for 20 years, but you can still learn something new about them, right? I didn't know that you liked the color blue. I never knew that before. I thought your favorite color was pink. Oh no, my favorite color is pink, but I really like blue as well. I didn't know that, whatever. It might be something minor, might be something major. Now, if you're in a relationship with Jesus or God or whatever, then couldn't it be possible that your understanding of God is simply limited? It's skewed. It's not quite correct. So that your understanding of the Word of God might also be incorrect and ill-informed and not fully developed as it should be. So, by learning reality and how things really work, you're not getting rid of God, you're coming to understand God better. And this is what the early Christians who started doing science wanted to find out how God did it. Not just by looking at what the Bible said, but also looking at what the planet told them, what the facts they could gather from the data that they gathered from observations and testing of the empirical world that they inhabit. And so you're either left with a God that has left us incorrect, misleading clues to the age of the earth, a God that is lying to us to deceive some of us, and that Christians and non-Christians have fallen for that lie and are confused, and or that God is honest and is giving us accurate information that we can honestly rely on. And so if you have a liar God, then you can't trust that God. So forget about it. You can't trust it. Your salvation is off the table because you can't trust a lying God. If you have a truth-telling God, then guess what? Reality is going to align with that God. That means the earth is 4.54 billion years old, give or take. The universe is 13 billion years old, give or take. And biological evolution is absolutely true. End of story there. And also the earth is an obloid spheroid. And I don't even know what else is out there that's wacky that people believe, but I'm sure there's more things. But don't deny science and reality because you think that you understand the Bible so well that you can be right about it, and that you understand God so well that you can't possibly be wrong about God. Because I would suggest you're not worshiping God, you're worshiping a book. And not even that, but you're worshiping a version of the book and a way to look at that book that might be the completely wrong way to look at it. And in fact, I would say it is the wrong way to look at it, because Genesis is not and cannot be literal. We know that without a doubt. It's whether or not you're willing to admit that allows your God the possibility of existing. If Genesis must be taken to have actually happened as written, literally written, your God cannot and does not exist because it does not align with reality. However, if you take the more nuanced approach, the more honest approach that says Genesis is a metaphor, it's mythology, it's not about history, it's, whatever, but it's not a telling of real events, then your God could be real. So when you then try to present your God to anyone else, whether they be a fellow believer in God or somebody like me that's a jaded skeptic and doesn't believe in any God at all, you are essentially telling them that 1 + 1 is a billion and your God is real because that's true. And everyone should say no to that, because no, you're wrong. 1 + 1 is not a billion. And thus, your God that is tied in to this condition of 1 + 1 being a billion cannot and does not exist. So the young earth creationists out there, the young earth believers in God, you are tying a false narrative of reality to the existence of God and making God not exist by doing so. I would strongly advise you to not do that. But let's get back to the video.
And this is why. Hemsby is an English seaside town living on the edge, quite literally. Because if you look closely, you'll see these exact landmarks 30 years ago. And this is them today. So fast is the erosion of these cliffs that in December 2023, some of the residents lost their sheds, gardens, and entire houses to the retreating cliff edge. So, if you're an atheist, you solve my problem for me.
Okay, and to make utterly and completely, totally clear to this guy and anyone else that's listening, it's not about atheism. This has, what you have just covered, what you have just said, has nothing whatsoever to do with atheism or theism. What you have just talked about here is either true in reality or it is not true in reality. Okay, is it true in reality that this erosion has taken place? Yes, it's true. Obviously, we have the video, a picture evidence here. We have, plenty of reasons to think that this thing happened. So from 1993 to December 2023, this erosion took place. It took a while for it to happen, but in 1993 it was one way, and now last year, and well, this year I would suspect it's a little bit more, or perhaps a lot more. And we have been measuring the erosion of many areas of the world, and so that is true. But that has nothing to do with theism or atheism. That's just science. Okay. It is also not my job or anyone's job to explain to you how things work unless they are an educator. And perhaps you should go to school and get an education if you don't understand this stuff, which you don't. But it is your burden to prove that this is true, to demonstrate demonstrably that it's true. And your reasoning here, I'm going to expose as epically flawed. So I want to replay what you just said and then explain how your reasoning is flawed.
Streets in Cliff Edge. So, if you're an atheist, you solve my problem for me. If the Earth really is billions of years old, and if there are places quite literally all around the world, just like Hemsby, which are receding quicker than my hairline, how is it that we have any land left? Surely.
Okay, so you're asking a question to which you do not know the answer, apparently. Now, could we take the fact that your hairline is receding and say, well, your hair's been receding at the pace of 1 inch within the past year. So let's extrapolate that. And we extrapolate that to be about the precise measurement of your head. And then we say, well, then you must be, I don't know, about 20 years old. Would that work? No. Why? Well, because hairline receding isn't always the same. Sometimes it's accelerated, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. And also, your hair was on your head for much longer than it started receding. So to cut it off at the starting point when you had full head of hair and before it started receding would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? So I can't conclude that you started birth with all your hair. Many babies are born without any hair, but some are born with hair. And then to say, oh yeah, and then as you aged, it started receding immediately, and now you're at the age where it's almost gone because I've just done the math backwards, right? Or I could take a piece of fruit out. I've got some bananas here. I could take a banana out. I don't have my webcam on right now. I guess I could turn it off. You need me to show you a banana. And I could put it on the table and be like, all right, let's wait a while. Let's see how much it decays and see if we can reverse that process and figure out how quickly it's decaying and then rewind that to figure out how old the banana is. Well, maybe not, because as it decays, what's going to happen? Well, bugs are going to come in and they're going to start munching on the damn banana and they're going to speed up the rate of decay, right? Well, that doesn't count as decay. Well, no, but it does contribute to it, right? So if I didn't know any better, maybe I go to bed and I don't see the bugs nibbling on my banana while I'm gone in bed sleeping, and I come back and the banana's pretty much gone. If I then extrapolate from that backwards, I'm going to get the wrong age of the damn banana. What I'm getting at is your extrapolation of these coastal things assumes that the rate is constant. It is not constant. What we will see, predicting moving forward, is this happen faster. There will be more erosion of more places around the world in a faster and faster method than we've ever seen in the past because, and here's another science bomb that many evangelistics don't like, global warming, global climate change is real and it's happening, and we are making it way worse. And that is real. So we're going to see this continue to go on and get faster. So does that mean if we extrapolate back and start going, well, it's going at the rate of 2 feet per minute now, and we assume that that was true, well, the earth must be younger now. Or maybe you just don't know what the hell you're talking about because you don't know anything about science. Perhaps that's what's going on. And don't worry, for those of you who are looking for more actual science stuff, I've already sent this video that I'm talking about here, this video here, this idiotic, if this wasn't debunked in the Bible, I wouldn't believe you, by of the Kirb Ministries, hosted by this Joe Kirby guy. Two people that I know that do science stuff way better than I could ever hope to do. I just do logic. That's it. I can only talk about logic stuff. That's my thing. I can only point out the bad logical reasoning being employed in this video. It is assuming that something is constant throughout time. And unless you have really good reasons to do that, you shouldn't do that. All sorts of things could affect the weathering of coastal regions. Increase in ocean, decrease in ocean, increase in wind, decrease in wind, heat, cold, melting ice caps, perhaps. Hole in the ozone, perhaps, although we did get rid of that, but still. Climbing temperatures, yeah, that's going to affect things. Also, sub-temperatures would affect things. And land development itself can affect the environment. If you remove a whole bunch of trees from a coastal region to make it nice so that you can see the view of the coastline, well, what you've done is you've made all that dirt that was solid into dirt that's not solid anymore because there's no more roots to hold the dirt down. And that could make your houses slip into the dirt way faster. Well, why do the housing companies charge more for houses by coastal lines? Because people are willing to pay more for the views, and those people are kind of stupid. They also have to pay a lot of money for coastal insurance, i.e. flood insurance, i.e. storm damage, i.e. whatever, and some places won't even sell you that. So you got to buy all sorts of crazy insurance, and if you can afford all that, then you can afford to lose a home to a storm, at least ideally speaking. We have seen places literally fall off into nothingness and go out to sea. I saw a video where a house on this giant landmass broke off and went out to the sea and went bye-bye. And you're like, well, if anyone's on there, they're screwed, unless they had a boat or something, but and the reason that's happening is the changing of the climate that has been increasing in heat due to human activity that is adding more greenhouse gases to the environment than the environment can recycle. So we as humans are going to have to come together, put our heads together, put aside our politics, put aside our pride, and fucking fix the problem that we made. Or it's just going to get worse. And that's the fact of the matter. Whether you believe in God or not, that's the truth. And what this guy is doing by denying the age of the earth is he's also allowing the heating of the earth to become something that people can be skeptical about. Because if science is wrong about the age of the earth, what else is science wrong about? Oh, maybe science is wrong about vaccines. Maybe science is wrong about global warming. Maybe science is wrong about the shape of the earth. Or maybe science is right about all that stuff, and you are simply wrong about how you want to interpret your holy book because you've been told by somebody at some point, or you've come to the conclusion that this is the right, quote unquote, way to read the Bible. Because you have drawn the conclusion that it's from God, inspired by God, written by God, or whatever, and can't be questioned, and can't be wrong, and you must be right, and there's no room for leeway. And then you listen to this nitwit and you wonder why there's less land than ever before, and why the migrant crisis is going to get worse, and why things are going to get harder for everybody, and there's going to be more wars and all sorts of stuff. And maybe you're like, well, that's supposed to happen. As a believer, I believe the world will end. Yay, I can't wait for Jesus to come back, because this time it's going to happen for sure. Everyone else before me believed that, but this time for sure. Well, the world, as far as humans go, might end. We, as humans, might not keep going because we're screwing things up. But that has nothing to do with God, as far as I can tell. Jesus won't be able to come back in time to save us from this stuff if we keep going. This nitwit is promoting pseudoscience. This isn't reality. This isn't true. It's false. His idea is illogical, not sound, not valid, not based on anything other than a complete and utter disregard of reality. I don't understand. Well, if the coastal region is shrinking, and I assume that it keeps on shrinking, then if I added that up, you're a moron. And also, he believes the global flood actually happened, which it didn't, and we have plenty of proof that that didn't happen either. Okay, so that's it. That's really all I wanted to say about this video, to be honest. He goes on. Oh yeah, he keeps being wrong in the video. I guess I'll play a little bit more just to prove the point that he's wrong.
At this rate, it wouldn't even take 1,000,000 years to eat up much of the Earth. Or will you tell me that places like Hemsby were 100 miles bigger 1,000,000,000 years ago? But
no, I wouldn't tell you that. I don't know how bigger it was 1,000,000 years ago. But no, also it would have been in a different place 1,000,000 years ago, because guess what? Plate tectonics is a thing. Things move. So the whole landmass would have been somewhere else. And it might indeed have been bigger because it would have been a part of a different landmass.
But I hear you. You're saying, Joe, can't you be a born-again Christian and believe in an old Earth and also in macroevolution? Well, I want to talk about that a little bit later. Right now, though, I want you to answer this question for me. Because if you go to Utah, you will find a place that will make you think twice about the age of the Earth.
I don't think I will find a place that will make me think twice about the age of the Earth, or even once about it. But let's hear what nonsense you have to answer. And yes, chat, I see you chatting. I will respond to chat as soon as I'm done ranting at this stuff, which will be a few minutes more. Give me a few minutes more and then I'll respond to chat.
Arches National Park has 2,000 rock arches, and I quote, their explanation for this is because millions of years of erosion and weathering are responsible. However, something isn't quite adding up here, because between the years 1977 and 2015, the park rangers have reported that 43 of these rock arches have collapsed due to further erosion, they say. So if you do the maths, that's on average.
Okay, I would love for a citation of where you're getting that from. Is it from their official website? Is it from a news article? Is it from nature.com? Is it from a peer-reviewed paper? Where are you getting that from? I'm sure that you've given your citation of... Oh, you didn't. You didn't give any citations. Of course not. So we're going to have to go find where the hell you came up with this from. Because I don't know that what you're saying is true, and I doubt that it is. But we'll pretend that it's true. I won't even bother to look it up because I don't care. Whatever. If you're not going to bother to cite your source, I'm not going to look it up for you. I'm just going to be skeptical of it. Yeah, so it is possible that let's read what you have on the screen here before I say anything else. As the salt dome moved up, it cracked the rock layer above horizontally. With time, water made its way into the cracks and melted the salt. Once salt liquefied, the rock structure above began to weaken and fall. The rock grains were carried away by water, and the cracks enlarged to form narrow valleys. Wind and water erosion carved straight, thin rock structures called fins out of the disintegrated rocks in between the valleys. Rainwater passed through the cracks in the fins, and in winter it froze and expanded. There are more than 2,000 arches, out of which 43 of them have fallen apart since 1997. The recent one being Wall Arch in 2008. Okay. And how does this prove the Earth is young?
Average one per year. So here's my big question. If the Earth was even 100,000 years old, how would we have any left? Of course they can't take millions of years to form, but it actually seems more likely that they are 4,000 years old, which of course makes sense if you believe, like me, that they were formed after the biblical account of Noah's flood. Come on.
But a flood wouldn't make structures like that. Not even a big flood, I don't think. But yeah, this is the same problem that you already had. You're just doing it again in a different way. Now, again, I don't know if I want to look this up and see where he's getting this from, because one, I'm lazy. Two, it doesn't really matter. Three, he doesn't cite it, so why should I care? But basically, even if this is actually from something legitimate, I can tell you this much, it's cherry picked, meaning it's in isolation from whatever comes before and after it. I don't know the full explanation of this because you didn't give us the full explanation. That's probably why you didn't give us the citation, because you don't want us to know the full explanation of this. So I must doubt this. I must be doubtful that this is all they said about the matter. And from what I can extrapolate, based on only what's on screen without looking it up, is that there is something that goes before this. And as this is a paragraph in and of itself, there's something that led into this paragraph, okay, that is explaining why these formations that have been around for a long time are falling apart. And you say, oh, it's okay, it's about one per year. Let's see, 47. Did you say that? Let's see, 1977, 2018. Let's see. Boy, you're gonna have to make me do math now. Let's see. So, how many fell? Okay, 43 of them have fallen. Right. So, like, what? 43 divided two. Wait, how would you even do the math to work that out? Like, how would you know, like, one per year? Because one per year, let's see, 77. Okay, so we just do, yeah, we do 43 minus 2, wait. Okay, we minus 2008, right? 2008 minus 47, and that gives us what? 1961, which is it says since 1977. So they started falling apart 1977. So in order for it to be wait, is it 47? No, 43. 43. Wrong math. Hold on. All right. Wrong math. Don't yell at me, chat. 43. 43. I hate math. I hate it. 2008 minus 43 is 1965. Okay. So let's see. In 1977. So still wrong. Okay. Just double checking. Okay. So once a year, if it started in 1977, so one other way we could do this is go 1977 and then add 43 to that. And that would be 2020. When they're saying the recent one was in 2008. So 43 of them have fallen since 1977. And the most recent was in 2008. Meaning that to get once a year, you would have to be from 1977 until 2020, but then you would have to explain why they have stopped falling, because the most recent one that fell was back in 2008, meaning that they stopped falling in 2008 and a single one hasn't fallen since then. So it's not once a year, because if it was once a year, then the number would be higher. I can't do math very good. I had to use calculator. You certainly can't do math either. So I know just by that you're wrong. In some way, shape, or form, he has to be wrong if he can't even beat out this guy that's talking that sucks at math. It's not once a year. It's not one per year. Or it would be a higher number. You're a moron. Okay, and also you're assuming then that this has been constant, that every single whatever number it would be has fallen every year. Well, no, it started in 1977. That's when they began to fall down. Hello? Hello? And, or they began to notice that they fell down because maybe they fell down before and they didn't notice. But do we have records before 1977 of more arches and how many there were and how many have fallen down? If we don't, then what's going on with that? Also, 4,000-year-old Earth makes zero sense because we have history that predates that by a lot. So it just doesn't make any coherent sense. And of course, if you extrapolate two people generating a population from that to the present day numbers, then people have to have a huge number of kids to make it to the number we have today. And you can work that math out, and it works out to a ridiculous number that doesn't work. And also history that we know about can't fit in that limited time span. So the young earthers are just wrong. Period. End of story. They're wrong. The earth isn't that young. It just isn't. You're wrong. And your ideas of why it's young are founded in illogical, incorrect statements that are not true, cannot be true, do not align with reality. And hopefully one of the two guys that I sent this email to, or maybe both of them, will talk about this more scientifically. And when and if they do, I will put that on my community tab, but I'll also make a quick video to say, hey, it's up, that was my fault, yay! And I'll point out the video where they talk about this more scientifically than ever I could. Okay, so I'm done with this video. No, I'm honestly done. There's nothing more I can say about it because it's science stuff and I've said all I can. The logic is faulty. Because the logic is faulty, we must be skeptical of his conclusions. His conclusions could be right, but we can't know that they're right because the argument sucks. In this case, though, because he's so wrong about reality, we actually can know that his conclusion is incorrect, but that's separate from doing pure logic. Using pure logic alone, we'd have to put his conclusion in question until more evidence was discovered one way or the other, or he fixed his broken argument. Well, we already have the ample science to blow away his conclusion anyways, so in this case it doesn't matter. But yeah, just using pure logic, you'd have to be skeptical of his conclusion. Using logic plus science, he's wrong. Or using just science, he's wrong. Okay. Now to look at chat. I won't read all of chat. I'll look some of chat. So if I bring you up and talk a little bit about that, then I like you, or thought something. I might not like you. I don't know. Something. But at this point, if you are a listener to this video and you're like, okay, well, I came, I saw, I conquered, you can be done now. You can stop the video. There's nothing more to listen to or watch unless you will be entertained by what I say to the people that are here in chat live with me now. And that might not be interesting to you. But what will happen is if I close this stream and open a new one, I lose this chat, so I can't respond to it. So I can't make this into 2 videos because it doesn't work like that. So I'm sorry, but we're done for the audience that wants to be done. We're done. End video. Bleep. Okay. They gone now? Okay, good. We can talk about them. All right. Hopefully they'll never come back. They'll never hear this. All right. So okay. So Sandals has said, what if denying science is fun and helps you and maybe others? Interesting question. I've talked about, and he said that after he said some jaded remarks that make me think that he might be an atheist, skeptic, agnostic, or somewhat anti-religious to some degree, because he said call me God, and typically theists don't do that, but maybe he's a deist. I don't know. I'm not going to assume anything about Sandals from what they write. I want to say he, but could be, I don't know. Could be a robot, don't know. Could be a they, could be a guy, could be a girl, could be a robot, don't know. But yeah, but so let's not try to extrapolate anything beyond just that he's saying this and I'm responding to it. And when I say he, I mean them. So I've talked about this in some other video at some point. I've talked about truth, and my view, my ethics are, my duty is to the truth. And I got that idea from Kant, Kant. I think some people pronounce it cunt. I don't know. So however you want to pronounce it, Kant, I don't know. He's a German name, Kant. Immanuel Kant. And he wrote this big old long book that I don't like because I don't understand a lot of it. What I read doesn't really seem valid. It's a critique of pure reason. It's kind of nonsensical because he's trying to reason that pure reason doesn't work. But to do that, you have to use reason. So I don't know why you would shoot yourself in the foot like that, but that's what he tries to do. I don't know why he's doing it. And that part I didn't really care about. But there's a different book of his that I read, and I can't remember the name of that book. It was like the philosophy of him, or the ethics or whatever. And I read that, and in that he made this argument that stood out to me, that if you imagined the entire world in an idealized way, that if this moral that you're trying to do was true, and everybody did it across the world in the way that you wanted them to, what would the world look like? And so he envisioned a world where everyone always told the truth all the time, no matter what. And that he thought that that would be a better world where people lie. And so his idea was then to tell the truth. Now, his view, where I did disagree with, was he felt that even keeping things to yourself was a version of lying. So that if somebody, now back in those days, I don't know if they had bank account numbers, but they had information that they might not want to share. But if somebody asked him his bank account number or whatever, that he would tell them. Whereas I would say, well, why do you want that information? Which I don't view as hiding the truth or concealing it or lying, because I'm not telling them a false number. I'm asking them why they want to know that. Now, I think in his time, he was around the World War II era, if I remember right. I might be wrong, but he might have said something, or maybe I'm thinking of something else, where somebody's like, yeah, if a Nazi knocks on your door and asks if you're hiding Jews, for him, it'd be like, if he was hiding Jews, he'd have to say yes. But I'm like, dude, that's just going to get you and them killed. Like, you say, what? Jews? I've never heard of them. What are you talking about? Like, no, I'm not hiding any Jews. What are you? Come on, I'm a Nazi like you. You lie. In that case, you lie, or you just go, I don't know. I mean, I'm. Yeah, this is my home. I mean, could they be hiding in here? Well, they could be. I don't think I'm hiding them. I mean, I personally didn't hide them. If they are here, that's not on me. You could say any number of things that were vaguely true without saying a complete lie, or whatever. So my view became, because of that, my view became that my duty is to the truth. And what that means to me is that whatever the consequence might be of saying what is real or what is true, oh well, too bad. That it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it anyway. So if it was the case that teaching kids that koalas eat bamboo made all the kids run out, start climbing trees and eating bamboo, that our duty to the truth would require us to still teach that, even though the consequence of doing so led to a negative result that we don't like. And we'd have to figure out why some way to stop them from doing that, or teach them that doing that's kind of dumb or something, whatever. But regardless, that what is real, what is true, what you now maybe you don't know, maybe you believe something is true, but you're not sure. So when you say stuff, be careful in how you say it. Say, I think that this is true, or I believe this, or I could be wrong. And like, well, as far as I know, or some qualifying words to let people know that you're not saying something that you consider to be a fact, because a fact should just be something that is so well established by science and reality that there's no reasonable way to question it. Like the Earth is an ovoid spheroid. That's a fact. You know, the Earth is 13 billion years old, give or sorry, 13 billion. That's the universe. The Earth is 4.54 billion years old, give or take. That and I say give or take, and that's established. So that's true. Or the universe, almost said Earth again, is 13 billion years old, and give or take, and then that's an established fact. Or that men are mortal, humans are mortal, that's an established fact. 1+1 is 2. Things I absolutely know for sure, right? Now, am I always going to get it right? No. You and I, we might have our duty to be to the truth, but we're going to say things in weird ways that might suggest what we're saying is something that we thought was true, and we might be wrong. And if and when we're wrong, we admit to that, we accept that, and we say, you know what? I was wrong. I learned something new. Hopefully, I won't make that mistake again. I probably will, but maybe I'll make all new mistakes. Yay! But it's okay to be wrong because you learn something new. And that's always a good thing, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is a good thing to have. So that's the end. So even if it was fun to deny reality, in my view, in my ethics, it would be wrong to do so. So I hope that answers the question from my perspective, which is the best I can do for a question like that. Uh, uh, let's see. If all beaches are falling apart, why are there still beaches? Right, exactly. Um, I haven't imagined any bugs. I've got a lovely fresh banana. Well, but see, you got to leave the banana out for a few days we got to do the experiment and then see if it works. Let's see. Yeah, erosion rate arguments are always cherry picked. I wouldn't be surprised that they were, but that the problem with saying it in that way, if we're going to get technical, which I love to do sometimes, but only when it benefits me to do it, is to say, well, shouldn't we say that erosion rates, when done by young earthers, seem to always be cherry picked? That way, we don't also negate the erosion rate arguments that are not cherry picked by scientists who know what they're doing. Okay. I guess, no, Nerdy wrote it. No, I couldn't afford one even without the insurance. You can buy one without insurance if you can afford it, but no, I wouldn't want a coastal dwelling. No way, unless it's a boat. But I wouldn't want to live on a boat. I already did that for long enough back in the days of Navy times. If all math teachers were idiots who did not understand disproved mathematics, If not, dumb Christians do not disprove the Bible. Okay, yeah, I never suggested that dumb Christians disprove the Bible. What I am suggesting is that the literal interpretation of Genesis is disproven by reality. And if they're going to intertwine the existence of their version of God into their dumb, as you put it, version of the Bible, then their God cannot exist by pure reason. That if you know, like I said, 1 + 1 is a billion, therefore God is real because my book said that. Now, if my book said that, let's just pretend for a moment that the Bible said something like that. It doesn't, but let's just pretend. And the Christians, some of them looked at that and go, well, that's wrong. And they were fine with it being wrong. They're like, oh, they just made a mistake. Somebody wrote that in. That wasn't ordained by God. It doesn't disprove anything other than that one part is wrong. Okay. But some Christians were like, that has to be true. And if it's true, then our God is real. And if you question it or doubt it, then you questioning God, and maybe God doesn't exist anymore. And so then it can't not be true. So what they've done by conjoining the idea of God's existence into something that we know is not true, they've made their God unable to exist. So they have disproven the Bible, not us. They have done that work for us. All his videos are this bad. I don't know. I've not watched all this guy's videos, but you know, and maybe it's a sign of the end times. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't help but use his erosion rates to prove with young Earth. He doesn't understand deposition rates. Yeah. What if God is kind of dumb? What if God was kind of dumb? That is one of my favorite theistic arguments. God is a nitwit. I think it's a pretty damn good one. No one's made it except for me, as far as I'm aware. But it actually make a lot more sense than many of these arguments. It's like, I don't know what the hell the first premise would be, but it's like, well, God is kind of dumb. God is a nitwit. It's how I would put it. That would be the conclusion. You'd have to work backwards from there. I bonus points if you can throw in lobsters at some point in the argument, but I don't know. Premise 1, lobsters exist. Premise 2, some humans are evil and therefore eat lobsters. Premise 3, I don't know, evil can't exist unless God is kind of a nitwit. Conclusion, therefore, God's a nitwit. I don't know, something like that. I haven't really thought it out that much, to be honest. But God being a nitwit or an idiot is certainly more plausible given all that we have observed. I mean, who else but a just insane lunatic nitwit would put the amusement park not only next to, but also on top of and inside of the waste disposal plant? Why would you put it there? And then say, hey, you're not allowed to go in that entrance, not the back entrance, even though that gets you to the fun park way faster. No, you can only go through the front entrance. And by the way, you can only sometimes go through the front entrance because some of the time we're going to flood the entire amusement park with lots of disgusting juice that looks that you don't want anything near. And it's disgusting and icky. Although you can still do it, it's not advisable to do it because you get germs from doing it. It doesn't feel good if you do it anyways. Not that I would necessarily know, and I deny, or neither can I confirm that I may or may not have ever done this. But at any rate, don't do it. It's just a bad idea. No matter how horny you are, past self, don't put it in if it's that time of the month. Anyways, so only a nitwit would do that. There you go. There's the argument for a nitwit God. Also, it's unclean, so you shouldn't do it because of that. Right. All right, so that's it. I read all the chat that I wanted to read. I said things that I didn't want to say or did want to say. I don't know anymore. And I think my voice is done. So thanks for watching. please dislike the original video that I'm responding to. Dislikes are good for me, bad for them, or something like that. I don't know. None of you like my videos when I tell you to, so I'm just going to tell you to do other stuff you won't do. I don't know anymore. I don't know how anything works anymore. I never knew what things worked in the first place. Maybe. I don't know. But sometimes I'm right about things, and when I'm right about things, I am, and when I'm not, it's Nerdy Rodent's fault. Can't prove that wrong. Checkmate. Make me another AI generated image of somebody, but that's not me, so I don't have an existential crisis. Ooh. All right. Thanks for listening. Be sure to comment on this video if you found it to your amusement, liking, and or disliking, and tell me what I got wrong in a logically coherent way. Until then, may reason and logic guide you. Always stay skeptical. And then I play some outro music. It'd be really cool. Deconverted man. Deconverted. Deconverted. He's a man with a plan. He's a deconverted man. Deconverted. 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 It's Deconverted Man. All the girls love him. The song's going on way too long. Someone make me an outro song. Subscribe or I'll sing more. I might